Hello, everybody. How's it going? Yeah. Hi, how are you feeling on this? Like, it's gorgeous here. I don't know about everybody else, but it is absolutely gorgeous here. I made myself some electrolytes just before I got on, and I took the first swig, and it was like a concentration of a bunch of electrolytes, and it hit the back of my throat, so I'm like choking on it now. So fantastic. Let me see. Hi, everybody. It's like 80 degrees here today, so it's not bad at all. Yeah, it's not bad. I see we have a couple of questions already, so I'm going to go ahead and start answering those. If anyone else has any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will answer them. If you can only test once a day, when would be best? I'm fasting until around 11 a.m. Then I have fat coffee, and my first food is between 3 and 4. Honestly, it depends. It depends on what you're going for. It depends on, I'm the same. Honestly, I only test once a day, if I even test every day. Some days I don't even test before I eat because strips are a little bit expensive. So I'm trying to make them last as long as I can. I test once a week in the morning so that I can see what my numbers look like, what my liver looks like, what my body is doing in the morning. But most of the time, I wait until just before I eat my actual food, not drink my coffee. So that's what I'm doing 6 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week, however much I actually do. I will check just before I eat my food, like literally just before. I'll have my food prepared, and then I will check my numbers just before I eat it. I do it after my coffee because it's mostly fat. It doesn't seem to do a whole lot to me. You could do one in the morning, and then you could do one before your fatty coffee, and then you could try one after your fatty coffee just before, on different days, just before you eat. And then that would kind of give you an idea of what your numbers are doing just before. Hi, Marianne. Welcome. That would kind of give you an idea about what you're doing. No jumping chicken today, but I am going to harvest one later because I'm mad at him. He's not nice. Lynn, we are talking about your ketones and your blood glucose. A lot of carnivores have discovered that their blood glucose is on the edge of diabetic because they're eating too much protein. So we started tracking, and now we are making adjustments. So that's what we're talking about. But I would say to try those several different times. You could honestly, on Monday, you're going to do it first thing in the morning. On Tuesday, you're going to do it before your coffee. On Wednesday, you're going to do it just before you eat your food, because it's going to kind of give you a pattern. You're going to see an idea of what you're doing in each of those phases without checking in one day each one of those phases. It's going to give you an average. Like this morning, I checked within 45 seconds of waking up. I woke up late today. I was like, oh my gosh, I slept in. So I jumped up out of bed, stumbled into the bathroom, and then I checked my numbers right there. I was still disoriented and kind of like fighting to get everything done. And so that's what I did with this morning was my morning check. Because Saturday, I usually check. That's the day I record my what I eat in a day. So that one I check right before I eat. So I prepare everything for you guys on camera, and then usually I have to wait a little while before I can actually eat and record because I have to kick everybody out of the room. So sometimes my food will be ready for 30 minutes to an hour before I actually get to eat it. Then I'll check my numbers, and then I'll show everyone what my numbers are just before I eat. So I would say play around with it a little bit, unless you're worried about clearing out your liver, and that is your main goal, then you could check every morning just right after you wake up. I prefer the kind of spacing it out to see where everything falls. Lindsay, hi, sweetheart. I'm assuming that switching to high fat can lead to temporary nausea and fun digestion. Yes, I'm on day 3 and my tummy is not too happy today, but ketones are slowly going up the past 2 mornings. So I'm currently re-listening, pushing 100 in Maryland. That's terrible. I am currently re-listening to Any Way You Can. I'm redoing all of Dr. Boz's books. And in this one, and in the next one too, actually, she says numerous times, anybody who gets diarrhea from, if that's what you're talking about, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, not constipation. If anyone gets diarrhea from the high fat, that means that you have absorption problems. There's a reason that all that high fat is going straight through you, and you actually need it more than most other people do because you have not been absorbing your vitamins and your nutrients, your vitamin D, your B vitamins. Those could all be pretty darn low. So for some people, it can take months for the diarrhea to end. It depends on, and most of the time it's caused by an overgrowth of bacteria in your small intestines that shouldn't be there, or you have other conditions. She says it in the book that you could have injuries inside your digestive system. And that is why you're shooting fire water out your backside, because you are not absorbing your nutrients. And so they're literally just going right through you. So those ones can, they can take a little bit longer, but it's really important for you to do that to, kind of help heal your body with the higher fat. It's like you're one of the ones that needs it more than almost everybody else. And then the nauseous tummy, that's because your body is like, okay, we're done. Your cholecystokinin has now been activated. Cholecystokinin is just a fun word to say. Electrolytes still in the back of my throat. So your cholecystokinin is actually, it's a hormone that's triggered to tell you stop eating, stop now. And that's actually what's responsible for, or peptide YY as well. But those are responsible for making you feel nauseous. And it is triggered mostly by fat. It's not triggered to carbs, and protein, I think, is a much, much less amount, but fat can really, really trigger that. So your body's telling you, hey, we've had enough. You need to stop now. And it can take a little while for your body to get more used to it. You can also go slower. You can up the fat slower rather than jumping in. So that is an option. That might help a little bit as well. So, hi everybody. With really ridiculous temperatures. I am so sorry. Yeah. Let me see. You got notified by YouTube late, but you got notified. That's like a leg up from everybody else. Nobody else gets notified. I watched your interview with Dr. Rimka, which was amazing. Is structuring your water, just leaving it out in the sunshine for 30 minutes. So what she said is the best way to structure your water would be to leave it outside in the sun for as long as you can leave it. Emily Penton actually has been doing this. She's been leaving it out for 24 hours in a sealed glass jar so that nothing gets into it. Then you stir it. And I mean, hers is sitting outside in nature, so it's kind of picking up some of that and it's helping. But apparently, like, stirring it and making sure that it hears sounds and vibrations helps to do it too. I drink out of a well, so I haven't played with that at all, but I thought that was kind of interesting. But Emily's been doing that. She's like, I swear by it now. So she's trying to do everything she can to heal herself. Let me see. Yeah. If I missed something besides the saying hi to everybody, then you can put it down lower and hopefully I will re-see it again today. Let me see. No sunbathing today because yesterday and all last night was my daughter's wedding. It was beautiful. Aw, that's awesome. Outdoor country wedding, and I love country and country music, and I'm exhausted. Right? Yeah. peopling is hard sometimes. Some peopling can be exhausting. Thank you, Tara. My shirt came from Goodwill. I was like, babe, I don't have any nice shirts that are short sleeve. Like, y'all, I'm addicted to sweaters. I love sweaters. This is why I love Wisconsin, because I can wear sweaters for so long. I was like, okay, it's 90. I can't wear a sweater. So he sent me to go get some nice shirts from Goodwill. I spent like $140 and walked out with, I want to say, it was like 15, 17 shirts, something like that. And yeah, there was a couple of sweaters in there. Hi, Myrick. Bonnie said, my ketones are great, but my fasting blood glucose is still in the upper 90s. Good. Means that you're popping your liver glycogen. Spring cleaning, it depends on how old you are, how long you've been overweight, how long you've been a carb addict, if you've ever consumed alcohol. It does all that stuff. Hi, Em. You made it. So it could take a long time. It could take months to pop all that glycogen, and that's okay. You want your body to spring clean. You want it to get rid of it, and that's good. You're just gonna be patient and love your body. I'm struggling to get my ketones up. I've been really strict, having issues with my gut. My doc wants me on a low FOD MAP diet. I'm mostly carnivore at this point. So Dr. Dom D'Agostino talks about the importance of fiber. And I really wanted to love that, which is why I brought salad back in, but my body just did not love the fiber. It was inflaming me. My ankles were getting bigger. My fingers and joints were hurting. So I ended up having to go off of it again. And I would say to your doctor that they're probably going to have to accept the fact if you say, I tried whatever XYZ you suggested and I felt horrible. My entire body hurt. And I mean, you could absolutely do it. Run down the list of symptoms and be like, I tried your diet. It did not work. As for your ketones, I would want to know. Hi, Trish. I would want to know, what are you eating every day? What is your protein, your fat, and your carbs? I want to know all three of those. And when are you eating? That can make a difference too. So you can tell me down lower, Katie, and I will revisit it when I get back down there. Thomas says, I listened to Dr. Boz's Keto Continuum all day on Audible while working in the yard and power washing the patio. Also received my keto mojo this morning. Glucose 110 and ketones 0.4. Thomas, isn't it so frustrating? It's like, no, I'm a carnivore. I'm in ketosis. 110. Yeah. Was that in the morning or was that in the afternoon? Because if it was in the morning, then it's not too bad. But if it was in the afternoon, your morning numbers might have been even worse. Yeah. It stinks. Blaze is starting to get my sleep in order on my morning. Fasting blood glucose is coming down. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're getting your sleep figured out. Julia, have you ever interviewed Siobhan Huggins? No, but I met her at the Metabolic Health Summit. She gave me her information. I need to. I think a lot of the women in your community probably don't know about lipedema. Apparently it's not well known. Isn't that funny? It's like, it just seems like us. It's like, we know this. And yeah, nope. I need to reach out to her. I need to reach out to Dave Feldman. I need to reach out to so many people. Life got so busy and I need to pick it back up again. Chris says, I'm feeling great and losing a little weight eating high fat and very minimal protein. My DBR definitely shows that I have big insulin response to protein. I don't need exogenous ketones now. That's awesome. Speaking of exogenous ketones, people ask me if I drink them, and I really don't right now. And the reason that I don't actually is talked about in Any Way You Can. In chapter 16, she goes through 15, 16. She talks about the different phases that you're going to go through when you go keto. Phase 1 is using the sugar in your blood. So this is in like 4 hours. You're going to burn through all the sugar in your blood. Phase 2 is burning sugar in your stored liver. It's going to take 12 plus hours. I mean, it could be months to go through that. Phase 3 is your liver starts making ketones like 24 hours after you're done. This is when this should start picking up. It's not always 24 hours later. It can take even longer for you to start making ketones, which is why I focus so much on the macros. Dr. Boz does not really focus on macros much at all. My people have been sick and struggling long enough. They want to get as close as possible, as fast as possible. And that is why I kind of give you guys macros to try to go to help you succeed as quickly as possible. So the number 3 is your liver starts making ketones. Number 4 is my book. My book doesn't want to play nice. Number 4 is transitioning, where your cells begin using the ketones over the glucose. And you've got trillions of cells for your body that has to make this transition. They have to switch over. And some people's bodies are very resistant and they go slow. And your brain is the last organ that switches over. So a lot of people go, I'm peeing ketones and I've got extreme mental fog. I'm exhausted. What's going on? One, you might need some magnesium. You most likely need to up your electrolytes, but you also could be very resistant to transitioning over to the ketones. So this takes like 2 weeks to transition over. Keto adapted time the rest of your life. And this can take a really long time because you got to wait for each and every one of those cells to recreate its mitochondria so that they can run on ketones. A lot of them have completely forgotten how to run on ketones. So they have to shift back over to that. And it takes time for your body to rebuild these mitochondria, to change the mitochondria to be able to burn the ketones. So what this talks about in phase 5, and it says, let me see if I can find it. I listened to it. Maybe it was, where is it? Hang on. I'm getting there. Maybe I'm not. So she says, maybe it's right there. Phase 5 is marked by the significant drop in your blood ketones. So I'm not there yet because I've still got ketones in the 4s, 5s, and sometimes the 6s. So I have not reached the keto adapted phase yet. But when I heard that phase 5 is marked by a significant drop in your blood ketones, this is why I am not using my exogenous ketones right now. I am making enough on my own. I'm going to save my exogenous ketones for when I have that significant drop. Because why use it now when I am going to need it later? So, congratulations, Chris, on not needing your exogenous ketones anymore. That's awesome that you were able to trigger your body to start doing that. Amelia, can salt loading cause diarrhea? Yes, it can. It can do a bunch of other stuff too. The salt loading should just cause you to urinate a lot, but I have heard of some people who end up getting diarrhea with it. But it could also be from some other things. It could be the iodine itself. It could be some of the cofactors if you're taking any of those. It's just an unbalancing of your system, unfortunately. Lori says, I brought meat, cookies, hamburger patties. We grilled at home. I also bought a treat. Lily's dark chocolate peanut butter cups. Oh, I wanted to eat those, and my body got so mad at me. It was so rude. So rude. Donald says, I know that's my issue. My blood work shows that my body just doesn't absorb the nutrients. Yep. And I think it's Any Way You Can, she actually talks about healing the gut, whether it's SIBO or if it's diverticulitis or if it's Crohn's disease or any of these irritable bowel syndrome. Paleomedicina, she doesn't talk about this in the book, but I've listened to one of her other videos, and she said Paleomedicina is actually using a PKD, Paleolithic ketogenic diet, and it is the only thing that has been able to affect almost all of these conditions. A Paleolithic ketogenic diet is a keto diet, which is very high fat. Paleolithic meaning almost no plant matter of any kind. So it is a ketogenic carnivore diet. And that is what is actually healing people's gut without any other supplementation, without any other protocols. This is able to reverse those problems on its own in some of the studies that they have been doing. So I found that kind of fascinating and very cool. It's just going to take time. When you have damage to the inside of your guts, you have to give it time to be able to fix. Autophagy can only work so fast. And so we just have to be extremely patient. That's what we're going to do. I have the problem when I drink too much MCT with my coffee. Yeah, MCT is some potent stuff, and you want to start with like half a teaspoon and then very slowly work your way up so that you don't end up with firewater. We don't want firewater. Firewater is bad if you can avoid it. Thank you, Emily. This is one of my thrift store shirts. And wait, I'll show you. It's super cute. It's like so cute. It has these little ties that go through the shirt and all the way around. And then it was just, I loved it. I saw it hanging up on the hanger and I was like, ew, it's orange. I don't want orange. It's got pink. I don't like pink. I'll try it. And then it's like my favorite shirt. So that's what I ended up keeping. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow out your earbuds with my ring. Let me see. Lori, that is so cool that you stayed 100% keto in that setting. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Wendy said, decided this morning I need to grow a pair and start tracking. I know. The fence sitting between carnivore and high fat is not a good place to be. No. And you'll get there when you get there. And that is okay. Dr. Boz, like she says, track your carbs. We're different. A lot of us are a different breed. We know where the carbs are. We don't play that carb game. For us, it's the protein. That's our kryptonite, honestly. Tracking is the only way to know where it is. And it just jumped. Okay, I was just about to read Shay's comment. Come back. Looking for it. Wow, it jumped far. Okay, Shay says, hi, Amy. At times I have diarrhea after having fats, but my vitamin D level was considered elevated. I do have issues with my gut, bloating, and gas. So are you taking a vitamin D supplement? And if you are, how much are you taking? Yeah. Cassandra was notified. That's good. Hi, Janice. You just got the book and the workbook. Oh, for anybody who has any of Dr. Boz's books, please go on to whatever you bought it from. If it was Walmart or if it was Amazon, wherever you bought it from today, go into your past orders. You're going to click on the book, and then down below, it's going to say leave a review. I want you guys to go in there and leave a review. 5 stars if you think it was worth it. I gave it a 5-star review, and then they let you write up a little something. If we want to say thank you to Dr. Boz, that is by far the best way for us to thank her is to go and leave an Amazon book review, because then it pushes it out and it promotes it to other people. If all of a sudden they get a whole bunch of 5-star reviews, they go, oh, this is hot stuff, let's sell more. And then they promote it. So go leave her a 5-star review for any of the books. Unless you didn't like it, then just message me and say you didn't like it, but don't leave a 1-star review, please. Don't do that. Carnivore. Oh yeah. Carnivore can absolutely be high fat. And the only thing I'm eating that's not carnivore is coconut oil. I had some cinnamon last night. My ankles are all swollen this morning. Healing one step at a time. I will get there. Crystals can also structure the water. You know, I was seriously thinking about that. I was like, what crystals? I mean, and I'm not into the whole woo-woo anything, but like there's science behind this stuff. So thrift shopping is the best. Yeah, you can get name brand stuff for like $2. I hope that we get cold enough this winter for a sweater. Oh my gosh, it was not as cold last year as it was the year before that, but the year before that apparently was like super bad. So the 2 winters we've been here, people have said, yeah, that was nothing. So we'll see what this winter holds for me. That's why I justified buying more sweaters. That is my addiction, y'all, is sweaters. Not purses, not shoes, sweaters. So come fall and winter, y'all will get to see my entire ensemble of sweaters. Let me see. Hi, Julia F. Hi, Amy. My first live as well. I'm wondering the same as Shay about the bloating and the gas, along with diarrhea. This has happened on occasion before, but now I'm 2 weeks in. So with the bloating and the gas, my question would be, what are you eating? If you are strict carnivore, then it could be you are having a reaction to whatever it is. If you're keto, it's probably one of the plant items, but it could be eggs, it could be dairy. So I'd have to know exactly what you're eating to help you kind of figure that out. My gut goes insane with breast veggies. Yeah, it's bad. I love salads, but cannot eat it. Yep. I figure someday I will be healed enough to be able to eat salads. Anyone who talks about the importance of fiber loses me. He talks about the studies, and it's the microbiome, and that the fiber feeds the bacteria in your gut. And I wanted to love the idea because I missed my salads, but it did not work at all. Hi, Tina. Kids are taking over the camper with nasty microwave crap, so I'm sitting outside in the rain. That's hilarious. Fiber is not an essential element. Maria Emmerich has an article, The Fiber Myth, very informative. Oh, yeah, they go over all of that in the coaching that I took. Not the coaching, the curriculum of theirs that I did. But science is ever evolving. There is no such thing as settled science, and I will continue to look at all avenues to make sure that I keep an open mind and I do not get dogmatic about anything, because that is when you run into problems. I don't like it. I don't want to do that. Do you think that 2 fatty coffees a day is okay, or do I need to eat more fat? I travel a lot and can't always get enough fat on the road. Protein, no problem. I drink 2 fatty coffees a day. I follow my numbers. And when my numbers start changing and different things happen, there's a tiny human. No, I'm not almost done. Disappear. Oh my gosh, she waited until Daddy came in here to go take a shower before she came and opened up the door and asked like 18 questions. That's my child. I am following my numbers right now. I am not gaining weight. I am drinking 2 fatty coffees a day, and then I am eating a fairly large meal most of the time. Then sometimes I'll add it, finish it off with the fatty tea, or with my yolk waffles, something like that. Once my numbers start going downhill, my ketones aren't as good. If my blood sugar, I don't foresee my blood sugar going up, but if my ketones aren't as good, then I will start doing the fasting, the eating window. But I am riding the wave and I am just going to stick with it. So if you want 2 fatty coffees, drink your fatty coffees. I have absolutely no problem with that. A lot of people can drink more fat than they can eat, and it works out better for them. What are your thoughts on the egg fast doing it now? I think that it can be a really good way for some people to get unstuck. Sometimes it just helps you refocus. For me, it would be too much protein because the number of eggs that I would want to eat, it would just be too much protein. So it wouldn't be possible for me to do, but for some people it works. Absolutely. I would have to look at the numbers, but I only eat 2 to 4 whole eggs a day and then have a little bit of protein on top of that, a little bit of meat, because my protein tops out really, really high, really fast. Hi, Amy. I made the fat bombs just the other day. I think it's too warm here for that much coconut oil. Oh, I actually cut the coconut oil in half the next time that I made them. I did the full cup of butter and only half a cup of the coconut oil, and it was way better. My coconut oil is liquid at room temp this time of year. Yeah, mine is too. Every time I pull it down, I'm like, oh, look, it's soup. It's pretty funny. What the heck is up with Paul Saladino hating on keto so much lately? I'm so tired of hearing it. You know, I would say he's paleo at best, and his form of keto, I don't think ever really had anything to do with getting into ketosis. And that's, everyone says keto is a diet. Keto is a state of chemistry that your body is in. I don't think that if you're not in ketosis, you shouldn't call it a keto diet. There's low carb. Low carb does not equal keto. And I know that he was pretty high protein. So that's what's hard on your kidneys. Yeah. That's, unless I've missed some of his stuff because I'm really not paying much attention because it's exhausting and makes me roll my eyes. So yeah, I just don't even really, I unfollowed him a little while ago because he's trying to find what works for him. And he's very opinionated about stuff. I think that his form of keto was just too high protein. That's what I truly believe. That's why he started having problems. Deborah says mine was 116 and 0.4 this AM. Yeah, the 116 can be your liver glycogen, stuff like that. The 0.4, again, it depends how much glycogen you have built up in your liver and your muscles. Your body just will not start making, your liver will not start making those ketones until you've cleared out enough for it to be able to go, we really need some more fuel and we're kind of running out of this stuff. We've got this and we can turn it into ketones. So why don't we do that? Because everyone's like, well, yeah, if you personally are high fat, then you only need the low carb. The problem is if your protein is too high, your insulin is up, then you cannot pull anything out of the cells when your insulin is elevated. They are locked. It's a one-way door in. It's not an outdoor. If the insulin is up, you cannot unlock things and turn your fat into ketones. You have to wait until your insulin is reduced. And with blood sugar of 116, your insulin is not reduced. Your insulin is up there. And it's just going to be for a little while until your body can clear out enough of that glucose for you to be able to make better ketones. Keep flooding your body with fat. Like the fatty tea, the fatty coffee, eating fatty foods, keep the protein down because that'll give you a better chance of achieving the numbers that you're going for. But for some people, it's just going to take time. And I know that is such an unpopular thing to hear. So firmer fat bombs, would be back off the coconut oil, and the butter is usually a little bit better. And then you can pop them in the freezer. Just pull them out, put them into the fridge. I store mine in the fridge. I never take them out. Some people use cream cheese. I just don't do a whole lot of dairy, period. I can, but yeah, it doesn't work out well. So yeah, I'm reading Any Way You Can right now. Oh, Any Way You Can is free on Kindle Unlimited. 120 blood glucose and 0.3. Yeah, you're pre-diabetic, if not diabetic, with those numbers. Yeah, that's very, very frustrating. Katie, fatty coffee in the morning, 2 meals a day, macros yesterday, 18 carbs, 86 grams of fat, and 114. You are not going to make ketones with those macros. That is not nearly enough fat. And for almost everybody, that is way too much protein. That would be why. If you are coming from, it depends on where you're coming from, but I know a bunch of people who had those same macros and they didn't make any. They flipped them, and then they started finally making ketones, because that fat, that's probably just enough for your body to remake some lipid layers and give you some hormones. There's not a lot left over for you to be able to turn into ketones at all. So Katie, depending on how tall you are, you would look at what your BMI, what the BMI chart says that you should weigh. You can take the highest one. And then you would eat that many grams of protein. It's usually for women anywhere from 50 to 80 grams of protein a day, and that's it. And then double to triple the fat. And until you do that, it's your blood glucose is going to stay higher, because your body is using that protein and it's turning it into glucose and it's burning it for gluconeogenesis. Because with your glucose being that high, your insulin is elevated, so you're not going to access any of the fat on your body. Michelle, yeah, I need macros. Yeah, for anyone who needs macros, I suggest that you come and join the VIPs over on the Mighty Network. I can only do so much here, and I can only do so much in the free group, because I have like 900 people in the free group. I cannot go through and do the macros for everybody. But in the VIPs, it is a smaller, more intimate group. When we have our meetings, and we have 2 meetings on Monday and 1 meeting on Thursday, you guys can ask all of these questions, and I will sit there and work it out with you personally on Zoom to get you exactly where you need to be. So I can try to answer questions while I'm here, but in the Zoom, we'd be able to talk back and forth. So I highly suggest that you go to the VIPs and join the VIPs, because then we can do a whole lot more communicating and working on you. Because now the free group is really big. My Facebook group is really big. I just don't have time to answer everyone's questions. If I'm going to spend any time with my family or with the new baby fawn that I am now rehabbing, I got a lot of stuff going on. It's so hard if we are insulin resistant. It is really, really a long process. It is very slow and steady if you are insulin resistant and or diabetic. Yeah, I guess he's just becoming very annoying to me. Yeah. Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, thank you, Tina. Could be Katie. My sleep is horrible and my morning numbers. Blood tests don't show diabetes, so I will go with that. Yeah, I honestly, when I say that is the clinical like cutoff for diabetes, I'm not saying go to your doctor and get on medication. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that your body is absolutely going in the wrong direction up to that point. You now see that there is a problem, and now you are able to start working backwards, and it's just going to take some time. So when I say that that's, the technical definition of diabetes, just don't worry about it. That just means it's going to take you a little bit longer to heal, but you're going to get there. So we are going to do this as long as it takes, and we're going to figure it all out. And we're not going to do what some other people are doing because it's not making anybody better. No names. No names. I don't follow him. Oh, yeah. Paul was carnivore. So he wrote the carnivore code, which I have right here. Stay, buddy. Right there. And now we're paleo at best, honestly. Like, I don't even know if paleo counts. My blood glucose in the morning prior to eating was 110. Ketones were 3.2. I go up and down with my glucose. I've been sick for 20 years. Yep. Glucose can also be affected by many medications, including medications for diabetes. They do raise your glucose in some cases. So it can be you're popping glycogen, you're eating too much protein, you are on a medication that is affecting you, you have an illness, or you are in pain, or there's so many things that can affect our blood glucose, which is why I try to encourage you guys to figure out what your macros should be so that you can get as close as you can as best as possible, because we've had enough. We've gone through enough. We do not need to take this, quite the same way as the standard American diet people. We need some numbers. Like, give me a formula. So your weight in kilograms, your ideal weight in kilograms, eat that for protein, double to triple the fat, keep the carbs under 20 total. Electrolytes, magnesium, all the fun stuff. Let me see. That was this morning, but yesterday's was 65. That's funny. Your blood sugar is like, wait, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. We'll do both. Thomas, you're so sweet. I know our workshop. I'm so excited. So Emily Penton from Carnivore Minds, from Inner Clarity Systems, and I are doing a workshop called Beyond Carnivore. And all next week, we are going to be giving you guys more information about that. We are going to be offering this. It is limited seating. So once we start releasing it, don't wait. Try to register as soon as possible with the link that we give you guys. It'll be in our Instagram bios. We'll also put it on Facebook. There's going to be a private Facebook group just for these 300 seats. This is all we have room for, is 300. But Emily and I are going to walk you guys in a lot more depth of how to implement a higher fat, moderate protein way of living. We can talk about the science of things. Emily and I are going to present for an hour. We're going to kind of go back and forth, tag team talking about certain topics. And then we're going to have a 30-minute Q&A. It's going to be the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th are the actual live meetings. If you can make it to the lives, it's 10:30 Central. And then the day afterwards, everyone will be able to catch up. If you missed it, there's going to be the live Q&As. So after you watch it, and then for a whole week afterwards, we will leave the Facebook group open so that we can give our full attention for 2 whole weeks to being able to help everyone get more information and kind of figure this out a little bit. So thank you, Thomas, for bringing that up so I could let everyone else know about that. Cassandra said, I get extreme anxiety when my brain starts transitioning to keto burning. You know what's funny? Again, I just listened to this in Any Way You Can. Dr. Boz said almost those exact same words. That when you get either really depressed or really anxious when you're doing that, that is actually one of the classic symptoms of low magnesium. And she said not until people start getting the really severe leg cramps do they go, oh, maybe it's magnesium. When in fact, the anxiety, the depression, the lethargy, the brain fog, all of these things, the heart palpitations, all of those can be tied back to your lack of magnesium. Almost everybody was already on the verge of being magnesium deficient because our soils are so depleted now. But then when you go keto and you flush all that water out, you flush all of your electrolytes out, now you are officially magnesium deficient. And your body's going to start pulling it from your bones, from your muscles, which is why we end up with those horrible muscle cramps and heart palpitations and extreme headaches across the back of your head or by your temples. That can be magnesium deficiency. So beginning to replenish that with the Epsom salt baths, with taking magnesium pills, with magnesium oil. If you can go do a float spa, that would be the best to do several times a week. Then that may completely deal with all of your anxiety, all of your depression, and a lot of the other symptoms. So there's a very good chance that that is exactly what is going on with the extreme anxiety when you try to switch over to ketone burning, is your body is so deficient in magnesium that now it can't even function very well anymore. Tara said, I'm going to check out the Mighty Network for August. Oh, yay. I'm so excited. I think it might be in the description down below. I think the free one is there, but I'm not positive. Oh, you're so sweet, Sammy. Better late than never. Thank you very much. Hello, lovely humans. Amy, I'm catching a craving for more fat lately, about 100 grams more than usual. Protein is under 70. Is there any actual max for fat that would seriously slow weight loss? No. And I remember hearing several times that what happens is when we are just beginning to make ketones, our body gets really, really, really good at it. And so it turns everything into ketones, which is why we can get these ridiculously high numbers. There's some people that have numbers in like the 8, so like 8.6, and they're freaking out. I'm like, you're okay. Just eat some protein. It'll slow it down. You're fine. I mean, you can eat carbs, but I'm like, just eat some protein. It's fine. So fat doesn't really mess with insulin, no, at all. But what is really cool is that your body takes all this fat and it turns it into ketones. And if you can't use all these ketones for fuel, what happens to them? They go into your urine. So you're literally turning fat into ketones that end up in your urine that you pee out. You're not storing the fat because you turned it into ketones and you're peeing it out. How cool is that? So I tell people, I'm like, just eat. I don't care what the calories are. I don't care if you're upwards of 4,000 calories a day. If you're not gaining weight and you're craving it, your body should be replenishing your fatty-based hormones, and it should be rebalancing, making new lipid layers for absolutely every cell in your body, revving up your metabolism, gooifying your brain. That's the technical term. Your brain's supposed to be 70 to 80% fat. And some adults have like 60% fat in their brain because we've been low fat for so long. So I say do it. Just eat it, drink it, whatever sounds good. When it comes to fat, it's really hard to overdo it because of your cholecystokinin. It will kick in pretty fast. That's why I recommend starting with, eating a stick of butter for breakfast. Eat a stick of butter for breakfast. See how far into it you get, because that cholecystokinin will turn on and it'll be like, you better stop or we're going to puke. And you get that feeling and you're like, oh, okay, I need to stop now. And just remembering that feeling, because later on, if you're like, I'm kind of hungry, but fat doesn't sound good, you'll remember that feeling and you're like, never mind, I'm not hungry. So, but yeah, I say do it. Don't worry about the calories. Right now, you are replenishing and replacing. That is just the best thing that you're going to be able to do. I'm sorry, I'm missing so many questions. You're very welcome, Michelle. If I'm missing them, you guys are just going to have to put them back because now I jumped down and I don't want to miss anything. If it's super important, please ask again. Speaking of anxiety and depression, how long do you think it could take you to heal your liver once you stop taking those types of meds? It depends on the person. Y'all are going to get so tired. I'm going to get a shirt that says it depends. I really am. It depends. It depends on what other things you have had that have affected you, what other illnesses, medications you've taken. Did y'all see that there's a lawsuit that just came out that said that Skittles actually change your DNA? Like, they are not safe for human consumption. So what else is changing our DNA? What else is changing us physiologically to the point where we're not going to be able to repair 100%? We're never going to get back to 100% in some cases. I truly think we're reaching that point between the glyphosate and the oxalates and the iodine deficiency and the bromide. And oh my gosh, like we got so screwed up. And I think that we can always improve. And I don't want anyone to take this as don't even bother trying, but don't shoot for perfection. It will always be progress over perfection. Because even if you're 75% better and not 100% better, isn't 75 still amazing compared to where you were? That to me is absolutely worth it. So it could take 6 months for your liver to heal. It could take 6 years. I truly don't know. And I don't want to make a promise or a statement to say this is what's going to happen, because there will always be that one outlier that does not conform. So rude. And it's usually me. Yeah. So what's a good brand of magnesium online to get? I have Pure Encapsulations magnesium glycinate, but I don't notice a difference. I'm taking like 700 milligrams. So I would do several different forms of magnesium. If you could do the baths, those are incredible. So you can go get like an 8-pound bag of Epsom salts from Walmart for like $5. Put that entire thing into your bathtub with hot water and sit in it for at least 40 minutes. It's got to be at least 40 minutes. That's one form of magnesium. You could do that a couple times a week or do the float spa. The magnesium glycinate from Pure Encapsulation should be fantastic. If it's not enough, then you could just be like super deficient. You could also add the milk of magnesia. It is a laxative, yes, so there is a limit to how much you can take, but it is another form that you can try to get into you. So that's that. You could also do the magnesium spray or oil, because it's another way that you're getting magnesium that isn't going through your gut. But I would say if the 700 milligrams isn't giving you the runs, then you could probably do the milk of magnesia, at least for a little bit. I start with 1 tablespoon at night, and then another tablespoon in the morning, and then 2 tablespoons at night. And I just keep adding on a tablespoon until I get the runs, and then I back off. And then I go back to what I was at before I got the runs. And then eventually your body will adjust, and then you'll have to back down a little bit again. So definitely do a couple of different forms of magnesium to try to replenish as much as you can in different ways. Same, remember hearing that also. Thanks, experiencing regular solid pounds. Oh, that's great. So I'm seeking verification, right? You're like, please tell me I'm not crazy and I'm not doing this wrong. No, you're fine. You're totally good. Let me see. And it jumped again. The only thing is that if you take external fat, you are using less of your own. As soon as you can start opening up your cells, yes. And that's one of the things that Dr. Boz talks about. She's like, yeah, you're high fat now, but you're not going to be forever. One step at a time. Because Eric Westman, Dr. Westman, he's real big on you don't have to add fat. You already have fat. But if you can't unlock your own fat because your insulin is too high, then you can't access it. And it's not going to work for you. And that's what a lot of people end up doing is they're eating the protein and their body's turning it into sugar. This is why a lot of carnivores are seeing that their A1C is going up. And, they were 5.4 and now they're 5.8. They're pre-diabetic from being a carnivore because they're not eating enough fat. Their insulin is too high because of the amount of protein that they're eating. So their body has no choice but to turn the protein into sugar and burn that. Because if the insulin is high, you cannot unlock your fat cells. What do you suggest for oxalate dumping, itching, and rash? So for that, I would go with some tallow lotion. I would put in some essential oils into it. Be careful with lavender. It is very estrogenic. But there's probably a cleansing blend. Like you could do like geranium, some lemon oil, maybe even, what's it called? Helichrysum might be really nice to put in there. The magnesium, if you got some magnesium bath flakes and put that in there, it's actually what I'm going to do as soon as they get here. I'm going to make my own tallow lotion. I would bring back in some oxalates, just a little bit. If it's cinnamon or pepper or dark chocolate, bring back in some oxalates. Black tea is also a really good option, like 1 black tea a day. You could do that. And then hopefully that'll slow it down a little bit. You can do cold press, might help a little bit as well. I'm trying to think. Seems like there's something else I'm forgetting. Drink lemon water. Add a decent amount of lemon to your food and to your drinks because the citric does help. It kind of rounds out the edges of the oxalates, the citrate does. So that will make it a little bit easier for your body to pass it out. It's a little bit less inflammatory. And if you're not taking a calcium supplement, I am not a fan of calcium supplements unless you're having some really severe oxalate dumping issues. Then go ahead and take a calcium supplement because calcium and oxalates bind together and it helps your body shuttle out the oxalates a little bit better and easier. So that's what they recommend over in the Trying Low Oxalate group, is to do the calcium supplements. Finding fat without carbs or protein is difficult. Coconut oil and butter. Egg yolks, yes, have some protein in them, which is why I always leave room in my daily amount of protein for my egg yolks. Always. I use a lot of egg yolks because each egg yolk has a decent amount of fat and then about 6 grams of protein. So I just plan out how many egg yolks I'm going to want for the day, and I leave that much room, times 6. So, but you can do it with tallow and all of the oils, coconut oil, olive oil. If you are carnivore, then you could do air fried beef suet. You can go get the trimmings from any butcher and cut it up into little pieces, put it in your air fryer, a lot like I did in the pork belly video that I put up on YouTube. You would put that onto your air fryer tray. You can sprinkle some seasoning or just do plain salt and then air fry those, and they become these crispy little fat nuggets. Oh my cow, those are good. So doing that. Bacon is a 1-to-1. Pork belly is usually a 1-to-1. Bone marrow is absolutely fantastic. It's 25-to-1 on fat to protein. There's I think it's even more than that, honestly, but there's so little protein in your bone marrow that will get you a huge amount of fat without the carbs or the protein. Butter is honestly really good at it. That's why I like making those fat bombs, where it's the coconut oil and the butter together. So that is how I do that. Katie said, how do you stay high fat while traveling? It's hard. It's very hard. So how I stay high fat when I'm traveling is I drink a ton of fatty coffee because that is the best way for me to do it. I take my own coffee pot. I take my immersion blender, I take my Yeti, and I take little packets of coconut oil or a liquid bottle of coconut oil. I take blocks of butter. And what, my darling? He's looking at me.
You don't take your husband.
I don't take my husband. Well, I don't travel right now. But that taking my own mayonnaise I will literally take a cooler with me everywhere with ice packs in it, and I will take mayonnaise with me. I'm one of those people who takes my own stuff. Olive oil, if you can handle olive oil, take it with you, pour it on whatever it is that you're eating. Sticks of butter. It's time to get ready for work, darling.
No, that's to wake up.
It's time to wake up, darling. But yeah, so that honestly, if you can figure out a way to do the fatty coffees, that would be the best option. When you're at Disney, it's just going to be hard. Just eat the butter. Just take a stick of butter, take your coffee cup, whatever, take a thermos, freeze it the night before, put the butter inside of it, take it with you, pull it out, have a couple bites of butter, put it back away. I know. It's just do the best that you can. Unfortunately, Trader Joe's has little coconut oil packets if they have them in stock, but they do have little coconut oil packets. Richard used to just straight up eat it. He would just open up the packet, rip it open, and just suck it down. So, and of course, your sardines in olive oil will give you good protein, good omega-3s, and drink the olive oil. That's what I do. I didn't do it on camera on Saturday when I recorded. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to make someone sick. Yeah. So just, yeah, that's the best I got. Janice had bad headaches only on both of my temples yesterday. I've never had one like that before. Good to know it was probably low magnesium. And now I know just drink some electrolytes or magnesium drops. I wish that we could take in as much magnesium as we need without the fire water, but we can't. It really stinks. So yes, absolutely up your magnesium and your electrolytes. I've heard heart surgeons say that they can reverse fatty liver with fasting and keto in 3 days. It's the first thing to go. Oh, that's awesome. I've heard of a few people who really struggled with, like 6 months before their liver cleared out. And that was with a really good keto diet. It just takes a really long time for some people. Okay. Hi, Donna, just sitting down. I know the feeling. My days are so busy. I get bad headaches whenever I break a fast and think in my case, it's the sudden glucose spike from fasting to fed. Very possible. Skittles. Let's see how many food dyes. Right? Oh, but for them to say it changes your DNA. Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, and it jumped. So suet, Lori, is the fancy technical term for the fat on a cow. It's cow fat. And it's waxy and chunked up. You can eat it frozen and raw with salt. And it's like little chunks of cheese. Or you could air fry it up. Kind of like, pork belly and bacon. They have that really fatty strip. That's what it is. And it jumped. So sorry if I missed stuff again because it jumps too fast. Is 2 to 20 for fasting insulin? When Amy says too high, does she mean over 20? I think the range is too broad. Vickman says anything under 6 is good. Yeah, I actually agree with him. I think that our insulin should be quite a bit lower than a lot of people are coming up with. Kefir for oxalates. I think that might be a really good idea, actually, because it's got the calcium in it. It's also got some really good bacteria that's going to help you out. I say try it. I would much rather you do kefir or yogurt or something like that for the calcium than the calcium supplements, because most calcium supplements are like concrete dust. They're really bad. It's very interesting. I cannot take any other form of magnesium I can ingest. Let me see. Oh, yes. If you buy magnesium oil, using it straight on your skin, once you get used to it, you can use it straight on your skin, but it takes you time to condition your skin up to it. So you can mix it with a carrier oil or aloe vera. That would be, and magnesium glycinate can absolutely give you the runs if you take enough of it. Yeah, absolutely it can. It's less likely to give you the runs, but it can still give you the runs. I used to eat Skittles like crazy in an adult. Oh dear. Just went to my doc. All he was concerned about was my LDL, which was a whole 20 points high. A whole 20 points high? Oh, you overachiever. How could you? That is too funny. Amy, have you seen Sean Baker's video from 3 days ago titled "Are Idiots in Charge?" He showed us a chart that the White House Task Force on Nutrition says is good to follow. I was dumbfounded. I honestly, I'm like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Everyone else can get sick. That's fine. I will help the ones that want help, but Lord knows I am not going to go around like, did you know that you're hurting yourself by eating that? People can ask me, and I did have someone ask me today at church, what are you doing? So I got to talk to them about that. Oh, colloidal silver. I didn't think about that, Blaze. Yeah, that's a good idea too. No, she was saying for oxalate dumping and itching, doing colloidal silver in there too. I was like, yeah, we did. So we have a little, you're very welcome, Lori. Yes, this is very thin skin, so that's good. That's a good place to put it. We have a little fawn that we are rehabbing. He got stepped on and he couldn't stand, and they thought for sure he wasn't going to make it. So we have been rehabbing him, and there's something going around the deer right now. Everyone's out there coughing and sneezing and not doing well. He started coughing and sneezing in here, and he looked really nasty. Like his eye was all goopy, and he was like sitting up. He looked drunk. And so we asked for medicine, but medicine's really hard to find for everybody and everything. So I wasn't given anything. So we decided to try a Hail Mary, and we gave him a drop of oregano oil, a drop of colloidal silver, a drop of 2% iodine, a drop of vitamin D3K2, a drop of B vitamins, and we put all of that into his gas drops because he was really bloated. So I gave him some of those. We went in there this morning, and I was like, okay, is he going to be alive? Little thing jumps up, and he's just now starting to be able to move again, really on his own. Jumps up, runs over with his little tail wagging, looking for his bottle. So I was like, I don't know what else to do. I mean, there's no medicine for him. And Richard was like, what would you do for us? He's like, if we needed antibiotics and we couldn't get any, what would you do? He goes, do that for the deer. Okay, because he was going downhill really fast. So I just gave my deer all of that, and apparently it seems to have worked because he's doing really good now. So it was so cool. Yes, I can show them on YouTube. The video that's going to go up on Tuesday morning is going to have a little snippet of me feeding him, because I took his bottle in there and I recorded it of him getting up, and that was just before he went downhill. So now you guys have like the backstory of he's even better. So now they've said that sometimes when they rehab these deer, like the baby will get better, and all of a sudden they're standing and they're able to do all this stuff, and then they'll go out one day and they're just dead. So they were like, yeah, I mean, like 10 days afterwards, you got to really watch them. And I was like, okay. We have so far 100% success rate with rehabbing and bottle feeding and saving these babies. And honestly, I think 90% of it is because we smother them with love. And whatever the illness is, I'm not sure if there's a potential to be transmissible to humans. So whenever the kids handle them and do anything, I make sure that they go in and wash their hands really well and no kisses on the face and stuff like that. So, but I mean, we'll just sit there and just like hold them and love them and talk to them. And I'll kiss him on his head a bunch of times. And he sees me as mom. He'll come up when I'm sitting down, he'll stick his nose in my armpit and he'll bump really, really hard. That's what they do to their mom when they want milk. That triggers the mom to release her milk lets down. So I'm always laughing. I'm like, there's nothing in my armpit, you goofball. But he'll see me and he'll come running now. It's just adorable. So he'll be on the video on Tuesday. It's low in sugar. I make milk kefir with half and half. I've heard that the A2 whole dairy plus heavy whipping cream make really good kefir and yogurt for anyone who is curious. How fun rehabilitating a fawn. Sad he is sick and hurt. Would love to do that. Yeah, I honestly think like there's a lot of people praying for this little guy right now. So I think he's got a pretty good chance of making it because a lot of people are aware of him and sending up good prayers, good vibes, good everything. Yeah, kefir, homemade kefir. I was thinking about starting to make kombucha again. I'm not a huge fan because it does have a lot of carbs in it, but Dr. Boz has talked about kombucha several times for people who have the severe diarrhea. You need to repopulate your gut with really good bacteria, and kombucha honestly is the best way to do it, but only like a quarter cup. It's only a quarter cup a day because if you are already having diarrhea from the high fat, chances are too many of those bugs would make your situation worse. Definitely don't want to do that. So I'm thinking that I might start that up again. Yeah, kimchi and sauerkraut. I can't do either one because of the cabbage. Oh, it's horrible, but I can do the kombucha. I could probably, I don't know, kefir. I don't know. I'm just afraid of the dairy. The dairy affects me so hard. I mean, I could do water kefir. I could do that. Booch is the kombucha. So kombucha, it's almost like apple cider vinegar, honestly. Kefir is fermented. Yes, it is. Just like yogurt is fermented as well. But I need to get a new SCOBY, though. I had, the thing was huge. I actually brought them with me, but then they ended up going bad when we moved here. So I need to order, if I'm going to do it, I should probably do it, shouldn't I? Yeah, I should do it. I have the most gorgeous kombucha. What's it called? I can't think of it. The jug. It's like this gorgeous handmade jug. I got it from Kombucha Camp, I believe is where we ordered it through, and it's blue. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's clay. It was handmade. So I think I'm probably going to order a new SCOBY from Kombucha Camp and start that up again because the good bacteria would be good. I think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. We just have to limit ourselves because it does have sugar in it and we're staying under 20, and it does have a little bit of alcohol in it too. So when alcohol stops ketone production. Just saying, my cats are kefir cats. That's awesome. I just make a high-fat yogurt per 2 Crazy Ketos recipe, and it's less than a gram of carbs per half cup. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not a yogurt fan, but this is good. I wanted the probiotics from Live Cultures. Yeah, the yogurt you get in the store, including the kefir in the store, they've pasteurized it, so they've killed off all the bacteria, and then they add more bacteria, but not as much as what would naturally be in there in most cases. Can't say always and forever. How's my hair? And still not falling out anymore in the shower. I have until my husband's birthday, September 12th. That should be like 3.5 months. So if by the time his birthday comes around, if my hair has not started falling out in huge clumps, then I'll know that I didn't overdo it. So finally trying sauerkraut not fermented food fan, but I really want to be. Homemade sauerkraut. Oh, it was so good. It tasted like little tiny strings of dill pickles when I made it. So good, but the cabbage totally tore me up. Yep, that's how I make my kombucha. It's actually a 2-gallon container, I think, and it was a continuous ferment, so it was continually going. And then I would pull off some of it and then add the flavorings, the berries and stuff like that to it. I would think that the kombucha buggies eat the sugar. They do for the most part, but if you look at the kombucha in the store, it'll have the sugar in it. I don't know. I wish that there was a way for me to test, but I guess my glucose is just going to have to be the best way to test. That's all I have to say about that. Pudding. I love it. Jug has a spout. Yes. One of those glass gallon. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. And it's handmade, and they put, I think it says kombucha camp on the bottom. That's not what I'm going for. I think it's kombuchacamp.com. That should be the one that I ordered it from. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is the one I ordered it from. And Kombucha Camp's got all kinds of stuff. Let me see. And then I should probably get off pretty soon. That's what I should do. Handmade stoneware. Okay, so I got the handmade stoneware. It is this one. It's the artisanal art. Come on, stop it. There we go. It just popped up an ad right on top of it. Go away. Go away again. Stop it. Be nice. Okay. That's the one that I have. It's a gorgeous blue glaze. But that's the one that I got. I love it. Anyways, we should probably say goodbye. It's been a minute. I'm going to go spend a little bit of time with my husband before he goes to work. So, okay, guys. I hope I answered everyone's questions. If I didn't, come over and join. You can join the Facebook group. I'm not there a whole lot because there's so many people, so many questions. Come join the Mighty Network. The free area is available. I'm just not able to be in there a whole lot. If you want more one-on-one, definitely come over to the VIP section because I can spend a lot more time with you guys to be able to help with that. I will make sure to link the VIP section down below. As soon as we get off, I'll go make sure that the link is updated. So I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I hope that you have a fantastic Sunday. And I will see you on Thursday here on YouTube. So bye, guys.